Yeah. Hey. Well, yeah. Goonies never say die. You know what time it is. We got horror suspense. Listen, Kevin Trav digging in the bin. Dirty Dancing in Encino Man. You never know what you'll find in Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. He's got all these flicks from way back when. Marty McFly in the DeLorean. Gotta love the Cage and whatever he's in. Face off Snake Guys, you know it's a win. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, Uncle Doug's bin. What's in the bin? Yeah, let's begin.
Welcome to Uncle Doug's DVD Bin, the podcast where we take your favorite movies, give you some facts, and tell you the plot, and there might even be a few jokes along the way. I'm your host, Kevin.
And I'm your other host, Travis, with a less sexy voice than you came in with there, Kev. Man,
I got a little allergy
really
thing
good.
going, man. I just thought I'd lean into it and see if I could get a little more baritone out of it. What do you think?
You're sexier with allergies. I don't know if your wife has told you, but you should just keep them.
Well, I'm trying to hold back the sniffles and the hacking, so that's a little bit of a challenge right there. But hey, man, you know, life gives you sniffles, you make lemonade out of them, right?
That's what I've always been told, man. And you know what? I know I'm going to need you to toughen up for this episode because this is a tough guys only zone.
Ooh, you're right. Hey, speaking of toughening up and accepting reality, man. You know, when you and I started out, we've gone a lot of places with this podcast, but we said, hey, we want the podcast to be 30 minutes and then maybe 45 minutes and then an hour. I don't know if you noticed in the intro there, I just cut out any time limit whatsoever. Just whatever happens. Do you remember, Trav, way back, episode 1, Dirty Dancing, I said there are some experiments that you don't know the result of until you run them. And Trav, you said, well, that's all experiments, Kev. And I was like, hold on a minute, bud. Hold on, PhD. I meant
Feels like a lot of them.
You don't even have a hypothesis. What has happened with this podcast is we had no hypothesis. We had an outline, maybe an idea, something we'd like to see happen, but it has shaped itself. It has grown. It has mutated. It has transfigured over the course of these 10 episodes to find ourselves here at the final episode. That's amazing, man.
It really is amazing. And a lot of things, not just this podcast format, has transformed and evolved over the last few weeks. No, in fact, Uncle Doug himself has grown to be quite a character, even more than I ever realized. And I got to say, I don't see the guy smile too often. Just a couple times when we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the one time he handed me a sandwich and wouldn't tell me what was on it. He had a pretty good smile on his face then. But when we pulled out Roadhouse, I have never seen a guy light up. He looked like a Christmas tree in the middle of June. This guy.
He was so, because you were doing the pulling out of the bin, man, and he just did that thing where he cups the back of your neck, and he just looked at you and smiled, and I was a little jealous. I felt like a little familial, father sort of thing, an uncle thing. I wanted him to have that kind of approval to me.
I know. I slipped, actually. I was like, "Oh, thanks, Uncle Doug." I almost called him Dad.
I don't think.
But
he'd mind.
It was really strange. He didn't. He didn't mind a bit.
Maybe you guys could go play mini golf together. Maybe build a little side table together.
I've tried playing mini golf with Doug, and I would say don't do it. He will not put his butterfly knife down. He's just twirling it the whole time. He won't even pay attention to what he's doing. And it's like, people are staring. It's dangerous. Put it away. We're trying to golf. It was a mess. Don't take him out in public. You know how it is.
I know. God dang, we do love that guy. He is absolutely the best. You know what we did completely by happenstance? We're pulling these DVDs out of the bin at random. We started this season with a Swayze, and we're ending it with a Swayze. We have created a Swayze sandwich.
That's just the luck of the draw, man. I mean, when you start drawing them out of the bucket, if you start with a Swayze and end with a Swayze, that's just God smiling down on you. We just lucked out. Oh, there's no other way to do it.
We really did, man. I mean, I can't think of no more poetic way to start and end a season than starting with the hips of Patrick Swayze and ending with the fists of Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse. I've got something I want to pitch to you too, Trav. I've got a tagline, all right, for this season of season 1 of Uncle Doug's DVD bin. Okay,
yeah.
All right, because we started with Dirty Dancing, we're in with Roadhouse. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm clear my throat a little bit here so I can get that good dramatic allergy voice.
Sure. Yep.
The dancing is over. It's time to bounce.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow. I like it. It could be an ad for like static sheets and it works for this podcast. It goes both ways. I really do like it. I don't know how that wasn't the last words Patrick Swayze said.
Well, it might have been. I mean, I haven't done the research yet. I feel like Patrick Swayze probably just looked deep into someone's eyes, and said, "Pain don't hurt."
Pain don't hurt. Maybe the best line in this movie, I gotta say.
I'm sorry, just this movie? Don't you mean every movie ever made?
I'm sorry. Best 3 words ever strung together and uttered in the English language, period.
Here's my problem with this movie, okay? So we know Roadhouse has been made, right? And people are still out there trying to make movies. It's like the perfect movie's already been made. Why are you still trying?
That's right.
It's not gonna
that is
be
a thought that
Roadhouse.
occurred to me. Yeah, that's a thought that occurred to me before maybe the third act of this movie. Yeah, no, I'm with you. It is a great movie. It has everything. It's got punches. It's got kicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's got more punches. It's got sweaty dudes. It's got a ton of Colt 45. Do you like Colt 45?
Oh, man.
We've got Colt 45.
You know who likes ice cold Colt 45 would be one Billy D. Williams, my friend. He loves an ice cold Colt 45. Actually, it's funny. I don't know if this is coming full circle or not. A lot of things seem to be doing that with this last episode, but I recently rewatched all of the prequels, and as you know, Billy D. Williams was in, the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
He was Lando Calrissian, and he was also a spokesperson for Colt 45. But I was commenting to you before we started recording.
That does add the context I needed for everything. Yes, thank you.
I kept seeing like the confusion in your eyes, so I thought I'll keep adding the little nuggets. I'm a very like false starter when it comes to stories. Like I'll start in the middle and then I go, no, I got to go back to the beginning. Okay, but then I go back to the beginning of another story that I should actually be telling. So anyway, I recently rewatched all of the prequels, and I was sitting here while we were watching Roadhouse, and I was like, you know what, man? Freaking Roadhouse has better dialogue than the Star Wars prequels. I don't know how it happened. More interesting characters and better dialogue.
You can't argue with that, man. Yeah, and great fight scenes too. I mean, you and I were joking at the start of the film. We're like, yeah, it's just going to be him basically ending a lot of his dirty dancing moves with a clenched fist. But there was some actual fight choreography here, and it was pretty good. Yeah. It was pretty fun.
There was some Tomonagis. There was some Epon-Seonagis. I mean, that was in there, Trav. I saw it with my eyeballs, and I appreciated every bit of it.
I did jot down in my notes as we watched this movie, just in quotes, I put, Kevin yells out what moves they're doing. So I don't know if it'll come up during the podcast.
He's doing the camel clutch.
I just want everyone to know that Kevin knew every fight move in this movie. He had him down.
I gotta say, Roadhouse has to be the ultimate TBS movie, which kind of blows my mind because there are a lot of lady jubblies in this movie. I mean, there's no nice way to say it. A lot of them come out, they go like, oh, it's been 10 minutes since we have lady jubblies. Let's throw some of those in this movie. That would be my one gripe with it. I don't even think it's a gripe, but one thing that doesn't seem as earned as some of the other things, that just the excessive amount of lady jubblies in this movie.
And you know what? There might be nicer ways to say it, but I do remember this being on TNT because they know drama, and this is absolutely a drama. We got a love story, we got revenge. We got a love story, we got revenge, and that's what you have. TBS knows comedy. I didn't laugh one time this whole movie. I was like, oh, we better get the bad guy for sure. So I'm saying TNT, yes. TBS, I don't know.
Oh, dang.
I don't know.
Trav, you're right. There is, I don't know if you know this, there's romance in this movie. There's revenge, and there's a polar bear falling on a guy.
Yep, which could qualify as revenge.
For the polar bear, at least. Well, look, man, we
indeed
have made it all the way to the end of season 1. We're doing Roadhouse this episode. What are we doing in the future? Like, what are our plans, man?
We have to give the Ben a break. Doug obviously loves us, but we gave him a lot of attention and a lot of company over the last few months. That kind of weirds him out. So we're like, we're going to take a little bit of a break, Doug. We'll come back. We'll regroup, come back, and we'll hit the bin here in a few weeks. But in the meantime, maybe we can fill some time with some other ideas. while Doug kind of resets his social energy, kind of like, had some dudes over in the trailer, need to relax a little bit. We can still be doing movie-related content before the second season when we come back with 10 more movies fresh out of that bin.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pitch a name for you. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
and this is not gonna be another podcast. This is just gonna be a continuation of this one, but this is just for you and me. This is a working title. How about Uncle Doug's Extra Bin?
Extra bin, more bin. I like
bin of extras. Do you like bin of extras or extra bin better?
I like less words, so extra bin.
But that seems like he has an additional guy named Ben who just hangs out with him.
And it's a bear. It's actually a bear.
It's a polar bear. It's gonna fall on him. That'll make sense later, guys. Maybe if we get to that part of the plot. So, but back to Trav. I do before we depart from this opening section of banter that you and I love to do. At least I like doing it. I like hanging out with you. I like riffing a little bit.
Honestly. Yeah, it could be the whole podcast for me, but yeah, we'll do a movie here in a second.
Eventually. Well, before we do that, we're definitely going to come back with a season 2. We're going to drop some bonus episodes in between to kind of keep you salivating a little bit for what season 2 might offer. And if you haven't hopped onto the Discord, you can jump on the Patreon for Polymedia Network. You can get on the Discord that way and drop us some movies you might like to see. Us talk about. I mean, that's, that would be cool if we can work it out that maybe we slide one of those to the top of the bin when Uncle Doug get looking. I don't know, Trav. That's super dangerous. I'm making
really
that
is.
offer, but I don't really think I want to do that, to be honest.
Because then somebody will suggest the movie in the Discord, and then we'll have to sneak in the middle of the night, rifle through the bin, find that movie if it's in there, and then pull it to the top. And be like, this is what we pulled, Doug, for real, for serious.
Oh God,
for serious.
I would never. If I did that, dude, I would never get that hand on the back of my neck, looking at me proud kind of thing that Doug does. That's never gonna happen. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. We do want you on the Discord. We want you talking about the podcast, but don't give us movie suggestions because Doug's not gonna like it. I mean, you could give us the suggestions, but we'll get there when we get there.
See.
I guess.
You know what? I'll just say we'll see. We'll see. You never know with Uncle Doug. He's always a surprise. But yeah, please, if you head on over to patreon.com/polykill, that covers the whole Polymedia network there. You might be able to get into that Discord and offer up some movie suggestions or just offer up some feedback. Let Kev know that he's better with allergies. That's a good piece of feedback.
All right. Those my allergies
Natural
again.
Sam Elliott there. That was good.
Well, now, the film Roadhouse, which we are covering on this episode, was released on May 19th of 1989, directed by, I don't know, this has got to be one of the cooler director names in all of Hollywood, Rowdy Harrington. How about that?
Yeah. That guy Roadhouse was on his crystal ball when he was born.
It really was. Now, it was written by R. Lance Hill and Hillary Hinken, starring, of course, we've already talked about him, the Swayze sandwich himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Swayze. We had some Kelly Lynch in there and some Sam Elliott, some early career Sam Elliott. Now, Trav, I seen a little drool drippity dropping out of your mouth when Sam Elliott popped on screen.
Dude, the Sam was looking pretty handsome. I mean, when I think of Sam Elliott, I think what everybody else thinks. Big old mustache. Just a big bristly mustache. Right. And, so maybe a close-cropped hairdo, maybe a little long, but, conservative in the hairdo department with that mustache. And playing more of a cowboy role. But here he comes in. He's got the bit of the salt and pepper hair, down to about the shoulders. He's no mustache, just a beard. And my gosh, if he isn't as sexy, if not even, I'm going to say an ounce sexier than Patrick Swayze in this movie, I'd be kidding myself.
Well, and of course, Kelly Lynch, she's actually, I was IMDb'ing her before we started recording, and man, she's been in a ton of movies, and she is, I don't know, man, she's got something in this movie that she's got that panache, that sex appeal. I don't know what it is, man. I'm normally reserving for like a Jennifer Grey, but man, she's in the zone with Patrick Swayze in this one. I mean, they are bringing the hotness in this film.
Yeah, man, she plays the doctor, and I don't know that they ever give her a name in this movie.
Yeah, I know we didn't. Doc. Yeah,
we were just calling her Doc the whole time. But yeah, she really brings it. I like her as a doctor, and she's pretty fun when she's not being a doctor. I'll say that.
I tell you what, man, I feel like she was probably not that good as a doctor. You know why? She's always dropping stuff like my jaw.
Yeah, there's that too. And you know what, Kev, we would be remiss, and I know just because we'll miss it when we go over the plot, but there is a scene where she is a doctor, and it looks like she's near a blister pack full of corn dogs. And we just started calling her the corn dog doctor, and that stuck with me. So I can't see her any other way than the corn dog doctor.
I mean, you know what? If you were injured, if you were hurt, you know, not seriously, not like mortally wounded, but you went to the doctor and they're like, "Hey, you want a corn dog?" Well, what can I do? I'm feeling a little bit better, man. Or even just like, okay, Trav, I got a serious question for you. All right, we're taking a way deep departure from the film here, but let me ask you this: corn dog nugget. Better or an abomination unto the Lord?
Oh, you mean better than a corn dog?
Yeah. Like it doesn't have the stick, right? So you just chomp, chomp, chomp. You dip it in your mustard ketchup mix. You know, at least that's my bag, right? It's like,
no, I'm with you there.
Is it better?
I
or
do
is it
occasionally
worse?
mix. That's a really good point, man. Oh, that's a really good point. Because, you know, I like the stick a lot because I'm the kind of guy, because I grew up poor. I get the little, that little burnt knuckle,
dude. That's the best
on the
part
stick
of the corn dog, right down at the end, and it's like crunchy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that cornmeal. Oh, so good, dude.
Yeah, you don't get your cornmeal knuckle if you just eat the nugs. So I'm all about the dogs on the stick, personally.
You know what? You convinced me, dude. I was leaning towards corn dog nugget, and I was like, you know what? I don't get the knuckle. I don't get the cornmeal knuckle. So I gotta have it. I gotta have it, man.
You gotta have that. Yeah.
Well, another thing you definitely gotta have is the 6 Degrees of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, the last film we did was The Replacements. We just did Roadhouse. I feel like this one was a little bit too easy for you, Trav. But what did you bring for us?
Yeah, it's like I'm getting too good at this. So we all remember The Replacements. Keanu Reeves playing the quarterback there, the star guy, the hero. Keanu, pretty well-known commodity in 1999 when that movie came out. But, in 1989, he hadn't even been starring in movies yet. His first feature film role was alongside Patrick Swayze in a hockey drama called Young Blood that actually starred Rob Lowe. So the Swayze Meister and Keanu were, lower down the billing in this movie than Rob Lowe, but they all starred together in this very Canadian-centric hockey film from 1989, believe it or not. Young Blood.
Dang, dude.
I'd like to pull that out of the bin someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like, as a sport, out of all the sports, if it's not someone punching somebody like boxing or MMA, hockey's kind of my jam. Like, I like some hockey. I like a little basketball, I like a little football every once in a while. Obviously, I think we exposed my ignorance when it comes to football. We watched The Replacements, as I don't know any of the positions plays or what the difference between a defensive and offensive line is. But what I will say is I can appreciate a man taking a stick and hitting a puck at another dude. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, you also like the propensity in hockey that it could turn into a fist fight at any moment. So I'm sure you appreciate that aspect as well. Yeah.
And it's like they actively encourage it. Like they just make you sit down for a minute. Like I get tired and sit down without fighting anybody, Like
I know.
It's like a reward, isn't it?
It truly is a sport I need to come around on. I've been in the shadows too long, I think most of my problem is a lot of their names I can't pronounce, but that's a me thing. That's just a Trav being too lazy to learn them thing, I need to get up and get going on hockey.
You really do, man. Well, you know what else I could use you getting up and getting going on is how about some of those reviews? Now, you've been out there, you've found the people that like it, the people that love it, the people that are like, and the people that hate it. And Trav, I always love when you bring these reviews. So what have you got for us this time?
Oh my gosh, Letterboxd was howling tonight on these. Our first one, we're going to start with people who love it. We got a one from a guy called Justin Talks Film, which makes you think this guy all the time talking about film. He must be very astute when it comes to cinema. Here we go, 5 stars. He just watched this movie maybe a week ago as of recording, 15th of June here, 2022. He says, Patrick Swayze in a cheesy action movie set in a bar where he kicks a lot of ass set to an amazing soundtrack. I loved every moment of this. Sam Elliott shines as always. Is it Oscar-worthy? No. Is it a perfect movie? Nope. Does it have cheesy dialogue? Yes, sir. Do I love this movie? Hell yeah.
Oh, dude, Justin just expressed my soul about this movie.
Showed his big heart. And then up next here, we got one from, this is another 5-star. This guy loved it. His name's Les Chappelle. Les Chappelle, 5 stars. This is May 22nd, 2022. He says, the A+ of B movies. Modernized Western themes, over-the-top dialogue, crazy fight scenes, zero connection to reality. Patrick Swayze can do it all, from philosophical speeches to shirtless Tai Chi to throat rips. Everyone on the cast and crew is 100% committed to this beautiful nonsense, not even going to try to criticize it. It's the perfect version of what it is.
Oh, my God. I have a new favorite phrase, beautiful nonsense. Les, that is, oh, God, that is real poetry right there.
Les absolutely nailing it on the head. I mean, just killing it right there. So that was 2 people that loved it. So what you're going to learn, okay, you take that right there, put that in your pocket. That's 2 people who absolutely loved this movie. They saw nothing wrong with it. They also watched it recently, okay? Now we'll come back to that later, but let's get to people that are a little bit meh. Middle of the road gang, not too impressed. We got one here, Andy Summers. This comes Valentine's Day 2015. You can tell what kind of life he lives. Watching Roadhouse on Valentine's Day. Gives it a 3-star. Now, Kevin, get your cuckoo ready.
All right.
He says, corny as fuck, but a movie so genuinely entertaining in the so bad it's good tradition, it remains only for me to accuse Swayze and Kelly Lynch of personally destroying the ozone layer with the amount of hairspray used during this movie.
I mean, hold on. I think they were destroying the ozone with the amount of cigarettes that Patrick Swayze was smoking.
Whole lot of cigarettes. Whole lot of cigarettes. Everybody was smoking.
I will tell you this. If and Trav, you would know this. You're a health conscious guy. You're out there doing the jogging and whatnot. But you don't want to smoke a cigarette while you're putting hairspray on. That's a bad deal, bro. That's a good way to end up looking like Anakin Skywalker at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Way to bring it back around. Very good job. Yeah. But and I was saying, pull that back in, because this 3-star, to me, still lauding the movie. It's still like, look, it's so bad, it's good. I mean, this person didn't appreciate it the same way our 5 stars did, but was still like, listen, it's pretty good, 3 stars. Another middle of the road, you might recognize this name. I'm not going to read what he wrote because he writes paragraphs of things for a living, but Roger Ebert, he gave this 2.5 stars back in May 19, 1989.
Okay. All right. I just want to point out that he rated Roadhouse higher than he did Dirty Dancing. Think about that for a minute. Think about the implications of Roger Ebert saying Roadhouse is a better film than Dirty Dancing.
By like 1.5 stars, right? Wasn't it like 1 star or something?
Yeah. It's 1 star.
Yeah.
It's a little dark, but like I wish I could, get out a Ouija board and like communicate. I've never wanted to commune with the dead before because I don't care, they're dead. But like if I could somehow communicate with Roger Ebert to see why he thought Roadhouse was demonstrably 1.5 stars better than Dirty Dancing, God, that's got to be super compelling. I might have to just go through and read that whole review just to see, what the merit is there.
I would say it's probably easier to read both reviews than what you were suggesting there with the Ouija board.
Well, okay, fine. I'll put the candles away. Let me put the goat skull back. Fine.
I was gonna say, I don't know where you got all that chalk, but you won't need it. You won't need it. And then our last one here, we got a 1 star. Okay, it turns out people actually do not like this movie, but here's what I think's funny.
How did they not like this movie?
I know, but we find another, I'm going to say, a lonely bachelor on Valentine's Day. This is another Valentine's Day review. February. I mean, these folks just on the, let's just watch Roadhouse so I can feel something again. I just want to feel something. This is from February 14, 2021. This is from Jacob Britton. Gives it a 1 star, okay? And he says, listen, I've done it, everybody. I've found the pinnacle of human stupidity. Roadhouse somehow manages to unintentionally be a brilliant satire of itself. That's the only way I can describe it. Is it stupid? Yes. Is it over the top? Yes. Is it boring whenever there's no explosions or punching? Yes. Is it bad in pretty much every way? Yes. But most importantly, did it make me laugh my ass off? Hell yes. This is a so bad it's good movie that I can absolutely recommend. Incredibly stupid, but a good laugh. In short, it's a film that's going off the rails on a Swayze train.
Swayze, that's how it goes. Millions of people looking at his torso. I had to get the rhyme in, Trav.
No, I appreciated that. That was really good, bringing it back around the torso. You made a rhyme. But the thing is, with this review, once again, it's someone who really cannot admit the movie is that bad. They're like, listen, I'm going to give it 1 star, but I still loved it because I enjoyed myself. It's an enjoyable movie. The people are missing the point.
See, I think Jacob is the type of guy, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but there's a lot of these folks
I
out
have
here
no idea.
who just live with the shame. They just live with shame. It's like, dude, if you like the movie, why you gotta say it's bad? If you liked it, what does that even matter? Like, just enjoy it. Yeah. Just
I'm
enjoy
with you, man.
Swayze roundhouse kicking somebody in the Roadhouse. Come on, man. Jacob,
Some people are so worried about what others will think.
I know. Clearly, Trav, I've never had that problem. Is I'm an embarrassment to myself and others. But I just want Jacob to let go of his critical nature and just say, you know what? I liked it.
Listen, we started and ended our first podcast season on Dirty Dancing in Roadhouse. Clearly, we're in it for fun. And if you're not in it for fun, folks, you've waited too long to get out. All right? Now buckle up. We're about to get into some gosh dang synopsis.
Woo! Let's talk about the plot of the amazing film, Roadhouse. So now the story is going to open up, and really, I say the story's opening up, but we're getting a lot of like character development, right? We're going to learn a little bit about our man Dalton. You know, Patrick Swayze, star of the film. So we see the owner of the Double Deuce show up in, well, first of all, Trav, we see, I'm going to call it exploitation, but we see a pretty lady from behind with her dress and her butt sort of moving. So you get a little bit of that.
We do see that first. Setting the stage a little bit. We see a big fancy car and a pretty lady, and it's like, okay. All right, it's going to be that kind of movie.
It is. You know, it's an 80s movie. They had a lot of that going on. So the owner of the Double Deuce shows up. He's looking for a cooler. A cooler is, if I am correct here, the person who sort of oversees the security at any bar or roadhouse, you know, that sort of thing, making sure everybody's safe, happy, healthy, and above all, drinking and making money for the owner of the bar. Well, he runs into...
Cools the heads, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so he runs into Dalton, obviously, by intent and design at this bar to kind of maybe recruit him to come work for him at the Double Deuce. Now... we see a little bit of action here early in the film. There's a little bit of knife action that happens here. And one of the things that I think is amazing is Patrick Swayze turns his back on a guy with it's actually not a knife. I think it's a nail file, if I'm not mistaken. But like he gets slashed with a nail file and doesn't even like notice it or flinch. I mean, Patrick Swayze's like Thanos in this.
He's the ultimate cooler, man. Yeah, he's got ice in his veins, man. Not afraid of anything. That's why he's being sawn out. He's at this bar. What is it called? The Bandstand. We don't even know what town this is in, but it's a big place. Big bands.
Heck yeah, he is. And he does this like amazing Zen master martial arts move here. He's like completely nonplussed by the guy who slices him with a with a nail file, and he's like, fine, you want to fight me? We'll go outside. So the guy goes outside, and then Patrick Swayze just turns around and walks back in the bar.
I know. Leaves him out there with like 5 to 6 of the big... They look like... I don't know if you're familiar, Kev, with the ECW. It was kind of a notch below like the WWF and the WCW growing up. You know, these are the real rough guys. Like just a couple of guys that look like they were recruited really right out of the ring just for this film. Just a lot of mullets, a lot of mustache. So just not friendly looking dude. So what a, tricks them to, let's take this outside, leaves them outside with the bad guys, walks back in while he's wearing his khakis and his polo. Man, he's just too friggin' cool already.
Oh, man, there's one thing you say about Patrick Swayze in a movie. He knows how to make an entrance. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So we go back inside the club, the bar, and Patrick Swayze's up in the office area, and he's stitching up that little wound. I mean, it's a very Black Knight from Monty Python situation. I mean, it's just a flesh wound for one Patrick Swayze. Mm-hmm. And Tillman, who is the owner of the Double Deuce, comes in and he says, "Hey, Dalton, I want to hire you to take over and cool or run my bar outside of Kansas City," which Equally, once we get on location there outside of Kansas City, sometimes looks like California, and sometimes looks like Utah. I don't know where they shot a lot of this, but it doesn't add up to look like Kansas City. But you know what? We'll let that go. It's fine. And we find out that Dalton, he knows what he's worth. You know, he charges a hefty price. He says, I need $5,000 up front and $500 a night. Now, I did the math on this, Trav, and that's like over $100,000 a year that Dalton's making at $500 a night.
That's a lot of money. I mean, in 1989, that's like $4 million in today's money. I don't know if that's true, but it's got to be close. So I mean, he's raking it in, man. He definitely knows what he's worth, and it makes sense why a guy like Tillman or Frankie, I think he goes by a lot of the time in the film, comes by to recruit him. But Swayze playing it coy. He says, "You know what? Not me. Why don't you go get Wade Garrett? That's a guy you should go get." But he very quickly folds, and within the next sentence, he's like, "All right, I'll do it. It's fine, I'll do it." Okay.
Yeah,
all
and
right.
Wade is played by Travis's heartthrob, Sam Elliott, of course.
Oh, yes.
And we'll get a little glimpse of him later. One of my favorite lines in the movie. Patrick Swayze does a lot of quipping in this. Like, he does a lot of like sarcastic quipping, and one of my favorite bits is in this. Tillman, is Tillman? It's Tillman. That's right.
I think that's how I mean, it's written out with way too many G's and H's, but I think it's just Tillman.
Okay, fair enough. Well, if it's not, guess what? That's what we're calling him anyway. So he offers Patrick Swayze's character a plane ticket, and Patrick Swayze, Dalton says, "Nah, I don't fly. It's too dangerous."
I know. It's like, what, you're going to try to bring a guy in that's going to clean the place up over there at the Double Deuce, kick all the butt, and get all of the what do you call it? I don't know, just all
riff-raff.
The roughnecks out of there. Yeah. Get all the riff-raff out of there, but he's too afraid to fly in a plane, the most safest form of travel there is. Are you kidding me?
I guess so. But you know what he's not afraid to do is to drive a 1964 Buick Riviera.
I know. It was like, was that whole plot point just to show off more cars? Like, it had to be. There was no reason for him not to fly from wherever the bandstand is, which they leave completely anonymous, to Jasper, Missouri.
That's right. Well, he gives away the 64 Buick, and then he drives off in like an 86 or 87 Mercedes 560. And you're like, all right, I'd rather have the Buick Riviera. I mean, like, I know, Mercedes is a expensive car. Maybe it impresses the ladies, but I would way rather have a good Buick.
I have no idea. I would honestly rather fly.
Yeah, you're right. That's fair enough. But that is one of the shticks of this movie, is that Patrick Swayze doesn't drive his real nice car most of the time because he knows it's going to get trashed by people he irritates or makes angry. Mm-hmm. So he usually buys an old beater to kind of drive around. Well, now he gets to the Double Deuce. And I think I made the comparison to Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights when he's like walking in. There's like people having intercourse, getting to business on like the hood of a car. There's people fighting. There's like miscreants everywhere. I'm pretty sure I saw someone smoking crack as he's like walking into this bar. It is by all accounts a hellscape.
It's not great. It's never good when the band, which is a good band, has to be protected by a giant fence.
Chicken
not
wire.
Good.
Chicken wire.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's never a good sign.
And he's kind of he's doing a little bit of a secret shop here, Trav. Like, he's just seeing what the problems are. He's seeing how bad the current bouncers that this place has. The bartender, he's just getting a lay of the land. He's like, what have I signed myself up for? Well, it doesn't look like anything particularly great.
Yeah, it doesn't look too good. And a lot of the things that go on here between the current staff and the folks in the bar, it's going to come back and haunt him later when he gets a little bit of power in the establishment. But for now, yeah, he's playing it cool, getting to know a few people. This is where we meet Carrie Ann as well, who is I thought honestly would play a bigger role because she comes, she's so friendly out of the gate. She's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Carrie. How are you doing? You new here? Hi. Well, anything you need."
100%. I want her to be my coworker. Like, she seems
Right?
awesome. Like, out of everybody in the movie, I'm like, you know what? I want to hang out with her and have a beer. Well, she asks Dalton what his name is, and they have a little bit of kind of stilted dialogue back and forth.
Oh yeah, she's like, "You got a name?" And he's like, "Yeah." Okay.
Okay. All right. You want to say it out loud, or
It's like, I wasn't sure if you had one or not. I'm glad to know that you do. That's good.
Good. Well, he finally tells her his name's Dalton, and there's a little rumor going around, and this is where we find out that he sort of killed a guy. He sort of ripped a dude's throat out, which may come back into play later.
Yeah. Yeah, he might have done a big bad, which is the ripping out of the throat, very Mortal Kombat fatality level of killing a man too. Like, they don't skimp around on that. They're like, "Hey man, I ripped out a man's throat." Like, for real? Whoa.
I think the
Easy.
most dangerous thing in this movie is Patrick Swayze smoking, but eventually, he kind of gets a lay of the land. He sees all the people that are doing the kind of corrupt stuff, or the bouncers that are currently employed that don't have the right temperament. But he realizes, oh man, I know Cody, played by Jeff Healey, and I want to go say hi to him. Now, he is a person who is visually impaired, and so he kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't even say like plays a prank or whatever. He just doesn't like say, "Hey, it's me, Dalton," and right. gives Jeff Healey a towel, and they have a moment where they hug, and it's nice. It's a good little scene there. Well, after this, Dalton realizes he's got to go out and get himself another clunker, another Buick Riviera. I guess he has things for Buick Riviera, so he buys a car. Then we see him going to the local tire shop, and he gets like 6 spare tires. Also, shout out to 60s era Buick Rivieras for the trunk space, because he fit them all in the trunk of that car.
Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it either. I was like, maybe I just don't remember how big trunks were back in the day. I remember they were being big enough to where I thought I could just camp out in them, and it was a very dangerous thing. A lot of kids died in the 80s hanging out, like camping out in the trunks of cars. I was impressed that he got all those tires in there. I'm not going to lie. And there's also a creepy old man that watches him put those tires in that you and I joked may have actually ripped a few throats out in real life.
Yeah, he looked like it, dude. He looked like he was not bothered by anything in this world. Like, he was already seeing through the veil into the next one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you know who's still firmly in this world is one Dalton. He knows, hey, I need a place to stay, so he heads over to this farm. Somehow, now, you know, if you're a movie director or a screenwriter, typically you'd have like Dalton have like a newspaper in his hand where he's seen an ad for a place for rent, something like that, just to justify him being there. None of that's needed in this movie. He just pulls up to a random farm and says, "I hear you got a place for rent," and decides to rent it out. Now, you and I know, Trav, that in Dirty Dancing, Patrick Swayze is not a fancy man. You know, he was basically living in a chicken coop. Well, here he is living in a literal loft apartment over a barn, which, I mean, we live in a millennial society now, so that place would probably be rented for $6,000 or $7,000 a month.
Honestly, it's really nice. You know, when you start out at the bottom and you see the horses and just the piles of straw, and you're thinking, ain't no way I would ever live there. But when he walks upstairs, it's got a fully furnished living room, a nice fireplace, a brick wall. It seems clean up there. I mean, gosh dang, you can't go wrong with that. And it seems as though it's not going to be that expensive on top of the nice salary he's already making. He almost has to beg the guy to let him pay to stay there.
Yeah, he does. And we get our first introduction of the big bad of the movie, Brad Wesley. Brad Wesley. He comes zipping by in his helicopter. Now, he's the local rich guy, right, who's accustomed to getting what he wants, and he kind of whips. He's literally the I guess not next door neighbor. He's across the river neighbor. You know, normally in a suburban neighborhood, there's a street. Well, there's a river that runs between the farm where Dalton's going to be staying and the rich dude's house, Brad Wesley, and he decides to whip his personal helicopter over top of the horses at this farm just to stir the horses up. Now, Trav, I'm like a 7-year-old girl. I love horses. And so I don't like to see horses agitated, irritated, or otherwise vexed. So right out of the gate, I don't like one Brad Wesley.
I'm not a huge fan myself. They do a really good job of even just getting him to grin like an a-hole. Just the little shot you see of him in the helicopter. I mean, you don't really know he's a terrible guy, but you just see the grin and you know enough. And we need to mention that the guy we're renting from, his name in the film is Emmett.
That's
but
not,
you and
Trav. Yeah, no, that's not his spirit name. What is his spirit name?
We decided his actual name should be Cooter. And so from here forth, that gentleman is Cooter. He's a big, bearded, lovely farming gentleman who's renting out a nice place for Patrick to stay during this film. So all respect, Cooter it is.
And out of all trajectories of characters in this movie, I see mine most aligning with Cooter. Like, I feel like I'm going to end up renting out my barn with my horses to someone who looks like Patrick Swayze at some point in the timeline. That's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And then eventually committing a very secret murder. But that's for later. That's later talk.
Well, now it's not a secret, Trav. Okay, my future murder is no longer a secret. Thanks.
That's my bad. That is my bad.
So we pop back to, in the next scene, the Double Deuce. And Patrick Swayze, he lays out his rules, all right? And then he gets to firing people. Now, one of his rules, and I can't remember what they all are. I think one's like...
Oh, I got them written down.
Oh,
I got
you
them written
do?
down.
Oh, God, do it, Trav.
Rule number 1 was never underestimate anyone. Never underestimate them.
Right.
Things could always escalate, okay? Keep your head on a swivel. Number 2, take it outside. Don't leave it inside. You take it outside. If a fight breaks out, get it outside. Get it out the door. Rule number 3, the most important rule of all, because saved it for number 3. Be nice. Be a sweetheart. Okay? If someone starts roughing on you, be sweet to them back. Hit them with that honey.
So this is where, Trav, I have the problem, because Patrick Swayze says, be nice. Be nice. And then he proceeds to fire people and be mean. He calls, like, a dude's mom a mean name, you know. He calls, he's like canning people, and he's not even like, he's got no bedside manner for this either, you know. Like
he doesn't. He's like, hey, you're out, you're done, you're out, walk. And he fired one guy because he didn't like his demeanor, because, you know, we were talking earlier, he came in sort of as an unknown quantity into the Double Deuce, was observating everything. Observating's not a word, but was observating everything going on there. Saw some bad actors and is firing them now that he's gotten this position. Fired someone dealing drugs, cleaning house already. We're not even through the first hour of employment.
Yeah, but I'm feeling good about it. I feel like he's making some good decisions here. He also fires the bartender, who is, you remember Brad Wesley, it's his nephew. Okay, so we know that there's going to be some kerfuffle there. And he also fires one of the other bouncers for getting busy in the break room. Now, it is the break room, and as he points out, he is on his break. Trav, from an HR standpoint, what do you think?
Well, I think for me, as someone who works from home, totally okay. Whatever you got to do in your lunch breaks, none of my business.
Well, anyway, everybody's been canned, and when Dalton goes to kind of leave that night, you know, and he's kind of fired some people progressively through the evening. He finds, of course, the windshield of his Riviera has been smashed. His tires have been stabbed with a perfectly good ice pick that the person just left for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Are we going to Bed Bath & Beyond every day? I mean, take your ice pick with you.
Maybe I don't know where you buy those things, but yeah, I'm on board taking. I mean, you could get fingerprints off that. Take it with you.
Yeah, no, it's in the Beyond section. Yeah.
I never get back that far.
Oh, you got to, man. It's so weird. That's where they have all the, like, you know, weird cryptozoic monsters, like the mummy boy and the
Man, I need to get back there.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I'm hanging out in bed all day.
No, I mean, I know you're tired, Trav, but like maybe
I don't even get the bath. But you're back there and beyond, just having the time of your life.
Yeah, it's great. So,
Dang.
So anyway, as Dalton is driving to get himself some parts to fix his car, he almost gets in a traffic accident with Brad Wesley because he's singing a song and just dangerously swerving through the road. And you're like, dude, this is I know you're trying to establish that this guy is sort of a bad guy and doesn't care about other people, but you're like, you're also endangering yourself. Do you have no sense of personal preservation hidden underneath that Panama Jack hat you're wearing?
That was a really weird scene. I don't know what's up with that guy. I don't know what his intentions are. I actually, you know what? I don't know what his intentions are for most of the movie. So if it's just to cause chaos, he's doing a great job.
He's doing a great job. Again, it's that typical like bad guy thing. Like, I don't understand what their business model is, because it seems like it's just to cause chaos and break things. And you're like, there's not a lot of good money in that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a scene later where he talks about it. He's like, listen, I'm responsible for most of the business in this town. The 7-Eleven was all me. All right. He's like, and the JCPenney that's moving in, all me. And it's like, bud, you don't want to stand by that in about 30 years.
That's true.
Know?
Well, I mean, that's 30 years of money making, though, so I guess I can't be too upset about that.
But then he just, we'll get to it later, but it doesn't make any sense because he perpetually burns the town down. But yeah,
and he's also running some sort of extortion racket that, wow, I sounded super southern when I said that. Extortion racket, where he's doing it legally somehow. I don't understand how that works other than the government charging taxes, but I am not exactly sure what it is, but I know he is definitely taking that from business owners as part of his revenue stream. So anyway, Dalton shows up at the local auto parts store, which just happens to be right across the street from the Double Deuce. And him and Red kind of bond a little bit. They kind of get to know each other.
Yeah, Red's a pretty solid guy. And, you call it across the street. I want to say it's across the really dirty field from the Dirty Deuce. I haven't seen much of a street.
I will go at Tillman a little bit here, because he does all this renovation in the Double Deuce, but doesn't bother to pave his parking lot.
Yeah, or update the sign on the outside. I mean, it just looks like it was hand painted in the 50s. I mean, come on, bro. Let's goose this up a little bit. Let's make this a classy establishment. We're going to have to get all matching polos soon. Let it reflect on the outside some.
Well, while he's picking up these auto parts, somehow Brad Wesley, who was going the complete opposite direction, turns around and arrives 5 minutes after Dalton.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Good eye.
It totally, hey man, that's the way it works in real life. I mean, that's just physics. And so Dalton have a little bit of eye contact, a little bit of hey, we're the two tough guys talking, and he leaves. And that's where we get the impression between Brad Wesley and Red. They have a little scene where we're like, oh yeah, he's definitely doing this extortion thing. So I think that's about all of interest that happens there. So we jump ahead that night to the Double Deuce, and now we know that Brad Wesley's nephew has been fired for skimming the till as a bartender. Hold on a minute. Did I miss? I think I might have missed the sexy, sweaty Tai Chi scene. I think that happens in between here. Doesn't matter. At some point during this film, Patrick Swayze.
I do have written down Swayze unwinds with some Dollar General Tai Chi that turns cooter on. I wrote that down.
God, dude, that couldn't describe that scene any better. I'm just gonna let that go. That 100% is what happens. So that night at the Double Deuce, Dalton's in the office with Tillman, and there's some goons in there. There's the fired bartender, can't remember his name, but he's the nephew of Brad Wesley, as well as some sort of button-down psycho that works for Wesley, and then another sort of, I don't know, he's kind of like a good old boy. Maybe he's along for the ride. He's got his suspenders. He's kind of a hefty gent, but they're up there and they've kind of intimidated Tillman a little bit into maybe rehiring this bartender, because our old nemesis, Brad Wesley, kind of controls the flow of liquor and beer into this town. Well, as you can imagine, you don't tell Dalton how things are going to be unless you're willing to back it up. Well, they get in a straight-up knife fight. And Dalton, he takes a little nick. He takes a little injury, but he really lays a beating on not only the former bartender, but this button-down psycho and the good old boy.
Yeah, man, you called it a knife fight, but I mean, really, it's just the bad guy's got the knife. Dalton, he's bringing fists to this knife fight, but you're right, he does take one there on the ribs, and it spills out into the bar. We got ourselves a regular old hoedown just going on all over the place.
Well, I think the most important reason for Dalton to get injured here is so he can go meet Doc in the ER.
That's right.
All right.
That's right. This is where we see her there with her freeze-dried package of formerly frozen corn dogs right there beside, where she's getting ready to look at this big wound. And a little bit of chemistry between them there. She's a doctor. She's tenderly caring for him, and he's a very handsome man, with or without his shirt on. It just so happens here without the shirt on. Sparks are flying.
They are. And he does a thing here where he refuses an anesthetic to the area where he's got to get there's a whole lot of stupid that happens. A whole lot of corny that happens here. He's like, yeah, I actually graduated from NYU with a philosophy degree. And she's like, well, why would you be doing this? It's like, what else do you do with a philosophy degree? I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm going to be a bouncer. I don't know. Like, what practical application? It's like you go to a trade school, you learn how to be an electrician. You go to philosophy school. What? You going to talk to people about Plato's allegory of the cave? Like, where's the money in that? You know?
I guess so. I guess that's how he makes his money. I don't know. You know what he did get from 4 years of NYU philosophy school? He learned one thing, very important, very important. Pain don't hurt. That's what he learned. Pain don't hurt.
And that's why he refuses the anesthetic. But I think he actually is refusing the anesthetic to impress the girl. Like, you remember, Trav, when you were like, like a younger guy, you'd do anything to impress a girl. You take a shot to the face. You're like, it didn't hurt. Oh, fine. Everything's good.
It's crazy how that flipped once I got married, because now I overreact to anything that could potentially hurt me. I am constantly in pain around my wife. Like, please, somebody care about me. But you're right. When I was a young buck, nothing hurt me. Oh, I'm so tough. I was a regular Patrick Swayze back in my prime, bud.
Dude, Trav, I rammed 2/3 of my toes into a dresser last night when I was getting up to go to the bathroom. I know you're looking at the math on that, but it was a portion of my toes. It was
That's 2/3. Yeah. But are you a Ninja Turtle?
Cowabunga, Trav. Cowabunga.
You know how many toes you have?
I rammed him into a dresser last night, and I can assure you that pain very much does hurt. So later, he flirts with the doctor, and he says, "Hey, come by the Double Deuce sometime. I'll buy you a cup of coffee." Which I don't know, Trav, if you watched enough movies at this point, but buying somebody a cup of coffee means da business. And so we find out that old Brad Wesley's not super happy that his guys failed, so he just lays a beating on one of them for some reason. Oh, the most important thing. Hold on, the most important thing that we learn in the next scene is that Brad Wesley owns a monster truck.
Honestly, that almost turned me in his favor. The movie was, I was like, not looking good for this guy. But when I see a guy with, maybe it was a 150, Ford F-150, just up on wheels that are probably 6.5 feet tall, I was like, all right, never mind. This guy seems cool. Yeah. He's probably okay.
You always wonder, like, what do the bad guys do with all their money? Well, you know what? I approve of Brad Wesley buying a monster truck. It's pretty much the most awesome way to spend your money. But he lays a beating on one of the guys. I don't know. And the guy, for some reason, decides to continue to be his employee. And there's this... He has the weirdest henchmen. Like, you watch most movies, and the bad guy hires henchmen that look scary or intimidating. He straight up has one that looks like a Xerox salesman. Like, he's just like, what are you doing? Where are you hiring these guys?
He has two classic guys with the hair slick back, right? The muscle guys. He's got the muscle. And then he's got the one guy that we talked about, the lovable guy in the suspenders with the big gut, who honestly to me he isn't in enough scenes. I mean, it's like, where's he recruiting his goons from? Then he has enough gall to just beat the crap out of one of them. I mean, I don't know why people he must have good benefits. I guess maybe if you let enough guys ride around in that monster truck, they're like, I'll do anything you want, Wesley. Just give me another turn in the truck.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I would let a 60-year-old man lay a beating on me to drive a monster truck. I'm not even playing for the podcast here. I would 100% do that. But so anyway, later that evening, it's later on in that day. They send a couple of the goons out to grab Dalton because Dalton is going to get offered a job from Brad Wesley. Now, there's some other stuff that happens in here, like I think this is the point where maybe some of the goons harass Red, who just happens to be Doc's. I'm just gonna drop a whole bunch of plot stuff here. So Red just happens to be Doc Lady's dad, who also Doc Lady was a love interest or / obsession object of Brad Wesley at some point. And Brad Wesley had sent some goons out to Red's place, and like they cut holes in his motor oil. And then poor Red, he gets the mop bucket and he's just pushing the oil around with water. Trying to
I was
clean
like,
it
poor
up.
Red, what are you doing, bud? We were watching that, and you could see he was kind of playing it off like, listen, don't judge the way I'm doing this. This has never happened before, and I don't really know what I'm doing. Google don't exist yet. I don't know how to get all this up.
It was like the 80s too, man. Nobody had kitty litter. They just, like, no one had a cat in the house. Like, who would have a cat in the house in the 80s? That doesn't make any sense. So that happens. Also, God, I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit here, Trav. So there are a couple of times in this movie where it appears that Patrick Swayze is wearing a gi top, is just like a regular shirt, which if you don't know what a gi is, the karate uniform, the taekwondo uniform, the judo uniform that people wear. He appears just to be wearing this as a regular shirt around town. I tried to do this one time when I was like 10 or 11, and it's just as embarrassing as it sounds. Like, he's got his gi top tucked into his Wrangler jeans. And
now, did you do this because you were inspired by Roadhouse, or was this your own idea?
No, I was 100% inspired by Roadhouse. Like, I saw it on like TBS or TNT, and I was like, I want to be cool like Patrick Swayze, and I wanted people to know I did karate. Like, I wanted people to know. I wanted people to ask me about my karate. Trav.
I mean, that's the way that karate is. You don't ever look like you do karate until someone catches you doing it, right? Might as well wear that gi top, do a little advertisement.
Exactly. Well, at some point, old Brad Wesley offers Dalton a job, and Dalton refuses to work for him for any amount of money, which I think Dalton, that's a little short-sighted. That's a little short-sighted. I mean, any amount of money? I mean, you could work for him for like a couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, you know what he could have said? He could have said, I'll let you drive the monster truck.
Oh, snap.
I'll let you drive it a little bit.
I'd have been out there cutting Red's motor oil cans again. 100% to drive that monster truck. So I guess that's a pretty bad deal. Well, so Dalton tries to get in touch with his old pal Garrett, played by Sam Elliott, and says, "Hey man, you ever heard of this guy, this Brad Wesley?" And Garrett says, "Nah, man, I gotta go back. There's ladies dancing on this stage with their jubblies out," and it's like, again. I sound like such a prude over here, Trav. Like, but it just feels excessive. It's like every season of Game of Thrones, they're like, "Oh, we hadn't had anybody naked yet this episode. Let's throw a naked lady in there." You know what I mean?
And on top of it, Sam Elliott, just the coolest looking dude in the whole movie. I didn't know which way to look. I was like, "There's a naked lady over here and Sam Elliott over here." My head was going back and forth. I didn't know where to focus.
Well, a few nights later, we find out that Tillman's having trouble getting the hooch in, which we knew, that might be a problem with him firing the bartender of Brad Wesley. And so Dalton says, "Well, I think I can help with that." So he calls a buddy of his who can get a booze delivery in. And it's about that time that some of Wesley's goons, again, some of them looking like Xerox salesmen, some having razor blades in their boots, show up to the Double Deuce. And Dalton moves stealthily, quickly, almost majestically to the doorway and refuses to let them in. Now, one of these guys tries to take a cheap shot at Dalton with that razor boot I mentioned, and Dalton catches that boot, drags him outside, does some leg snapping, and he chucks the boot on the roof. For some reason, he pulls the boot off. Yeah, and there is a straight-up brawl that happened.
Big, dusty brawl going on. Everybody's kicking everybody. Carrie Ann, remember her? She's excited, but you know who else is excited? Guess who shows up?
Who?
The Doc herself. Yeah, this is the night she decides to swing by the Double Deuce. Of all nights, she comes by to see a big old hootenanny going down outside, big old dust brawl. She ain't deterred. Nah, is she living a better life as a doctor? Could she go find a handsome gentleman that has a regular 9 to 5 that doesn't get dusted up every night? Sure. But no, she's right here for Patrick Swayze, baby.
I mean, I'm in. I mean, everybody likes a bad boy, Trav.
Mm-hmm. I know I do. Sam Elliott. That's
Yeah,
my bad boy.
Trav, I'm a bad boy. I just broke a copy of Swamp Thing for NES. Bad boy.
That is terrible.
Well, they have a little bit of a connection. They go on a little bit of a date. They go to a cafe. They get to know each other. And I guess he just sort of, there's some interest there. They have a little kissy poo. Little kissy poo happens.
Yeah,
little connection. That's nice. All right, so the first date goes great. And if a first date goes great, well, you have a little second date. And they end up back at Dalton's place over top of the barn. And, Trav, there is some hot, steamy romance that happens.
Oh.
These arms of mine. I know that was, beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, it was a good fight. I mean, I'm counting here. I'm looking through the scroll. It's about 5 straight minutes of just sex between these two,
which seems a little excessive, but I mean that's kind of been the name of the game. And they make some sweet love against the fireplace, and they make some sweet love on the bed, and then Patrick Swayze
take it to the roof.
Yeah, they take it to the roof. Like, he wakes up, he takes a blanket outside. She wakes up, she's like, whoa, what's going on? I'm saying I'm so sleepy. I've just been having sex with Patrick Swayze. And then she looks and he's sitting out on the roof. She goes out there and she's like, are you going to stay with me? He's like, nah, I'm probably going to leave. She's like, all right, I'm going to do you again. And so like they start getting busy. Well, then you find out, of course, that Brad Wesley had a thing for her. He is sitting out on his porch watching them get the business on the roof.
Creeping with a cigar in his mouth, just creeping.
So creepy, dude.
Man, honestly, I feel like I don't know how much Patrick Swayze even thought about it. He doesn't seem to care. He doesn't seem to mind that Wesley's even across the river. He's just out there doing his business.
Well, not only that, like he's making, I mean, all the lights are on. There's almost what looks to be a spotlight on them while they're getting busy on this roof. You also have Cooter in the house that's like 12 feet away. He could just wake up and look out the window and go, oh, God, man, people having sex on the roof of my barn.
I know, right? Scaring my gosh dang horses. I got mad about the helicopter, but that banging ain't doing no better.
Dude, they're trying to sleep.
Gosh, man. Have some respect, Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze. You don't have to respect Brad Wesley because we don't like him, but you need to respect Cooter and his horses. Well, the next day at the bar, they're getting in that alcohol delivery that they didn't think was going to be a possibility, but of course Dalton called in a favor. Well, Brad Wesley's goons show up, but guess who also shows up? One Garrett. That's right. Yeah. Sam Elliott, a bad mamma jamma. And they have themselves a duster up at the back of the Double Deuce.
Oh my gosh, and I love it too because this is where we find out where Patrick Swayze, he's got some discipline with his fighting. Wade Garrett, bit of a dirty fighter. He'll go right after the old crotch maneuver. He'll do whatever he's got to do.
He is
feisty.
Man. He's down. He's dirty. He's throwing shots. Man, I'll tell you what. I like a real roughneck fighter. Somebody who's gonna, And I also kind of wonder, like, they knew that this delivery might be a problem. Why are the rest of the bouncers inside? Like, why didn't they? I guess they're like, I guess Dalton's got it. I guess he's fine. I guess this is what everybody was doing to poor LeBron for like 10 years. Like, LeBron's got it. Well, of course, Dalton's excited to have his boy Wade in town. Garrett, Wade Garrett is his full name. And so he's like, I got to introduce him to my new lady. So go pick her up at the hospital because she is a doctor or doc. And they go out. They have they have some drinks. They have a good time. Of course, Wade Garrett's laying it heavy on the dock. He's flirting with her, man. And Patrick Swayze, Dalton's just like, yeah, that's cool. That's just Wade. That's his gag.
Yeah. And they're showing each other their scars. Man, we figure out where Sam Elliott's mustache went. Because he goes to show one near the hip. And, man, I swear, of all the bush in this movie, Sam Elliott's is the one that you get to see closest.
Yeah, Trav's like, hey, can you rewind that? And I was like, yeah, no problem. And he's like, can you do it again? I was like, what, again? 3 times.
Yeah, can you pause at about an hour 12:13 for me there, Kev? Perfect, right there. Are you able to zoom on Amazon Prime?
you just kept taking notes, but it didn't look like notes. You were just staring with a grin. It was real weird. So,
You write with your shoulder. That's weird.
Well, we do find out a little bit more about Dalton straight up killing that dude. You know, it was self-defense. You know, it was a husband, I guess, had pulled a gun on Dalton. I guess he was doing a little something maybe he shouldn't have been doing, you know, sleeping with a married woman.
Back in Memphis years ago.
And he just pow ripped a dude's throat out. Apparently that's his fatality. That's his move. That's his back, up, down, left, right, B, A, X, whatever move.
That's a wild move. It's a very specific way to kill someone to bring up in this movie. He didn't shoot him. He didn't do this or that. Ripped his throat out. I mean, it's interesting to say the least.
Heck yeah. Well, Garrett decides he's going to hang out with Dalton a little bit, maybe help out at the bar. Don't know if he's getting paid or if he's just volunteering because he loves to beat people up. But what does happen is Red's store, you remember it's right across the dirt parking lot, as Trav so eloquently put, gets blown up. Boom.
Yeah, a lot of oil in there. We know about that because it definitely wasn't coming out of the floor with water. So it goes up pretty quick.
And so they all run out. They're watching the fire. They're trying to help. They don't know what they're going to do. So they go back to the Double Deuce, and Brad Wesley's there with his blonde, actually really like bleach blonde girlfriend, who's somewhat of a sympathetic character, somewhat not. Like she's sort of abused. Like she takes a beating earlier in the movie, and then in this scene she's doing like some weird seductive dancing, like at the behest of Brad Wesley. It's a weird dynamic, but she also like, I feel like she was like a device or a plot point of the screenwriters, that they're like, well, at this point she'll do this, at this point she'll do this, without any bother to sort of like justify what her actions are. But she sort of does this kind of like sexy dance, and Brad Wesley's there trying to antagonize everybody. Well, he sends Jimmy, who's his like number one martial arts trained guy out there with a pool cue after the sexy dance, to start a fight with the bouncers at the Double Deuce. And there's a pretty decent fight scene that happens here. Now, Jimmy does exactly what I do whenever I find a cool stick in the woods, which is like whip it around like I'm Donatello. Cowabunga, Trav.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I've tried that several times myself, and I always come out with a little concussion, just a little one.
Well, minor concussions, like not even having a concussion. So
sure.
So there's this fight scene that plays out. Brad Wesley pulls out a gun, bang, fires a pistol in this freaking establishment. Now, we do find out that he sort of owns the local police, so he doesn't have any fear of like recompense or whatever. So, and then he looks at Dalton and he says that one of the weirdest, and there's a lot of weird lines in this movie, but he looks at Dalton and he says, this isn't working out. Like,
right?
What?
It was very cowardly. Like, it doesn't make him seem like a strong character at that point. No, it was just really weird. What a cop-out.
It was odd. Well, some of the prominent business owners are like, man, we gotta sit down and talk about, you know, what happened to Red. Because Red's packing up all of his possessions. He's like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm leaving town. And I don't blame him, man. I mean, you've had everything blown up. You might get a good insurance check so you can start a business somewhere where you don't have to deal with a Brad Wesley. But the other folks are trying to keep him to stay. They ask him, well, you got insurance. Well, Wesley gets word of this meeting, and he finally uses that monster truck for something awesome. Now, look, I feel bad for... what's his name? I think Stroudenmeyer is his name, the guy that owns the local car dealership, for having all of the cars in his dealership run over by the monster truck. Yet it was awesome. It was so
pretty cool.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I hate to say it's my favorite part of the movie because there was that 5.5 minute sex scene, but this is close.
Well, there's a couple of details in it too, like you know, some people try to stop it from happening, and Red's like, no, he was making fun of me for having my place blown up. Let's just let this monster truck run through the car dealership. There were people in the car dealership that could have easily been killed, yet he does it. But my favorite little touch in this scene is the guy that's driving the monster truck, potentially committing aggravated assault or murder, just rolls up the window before he He's like, I can't have any glass particles in my monster truck, you know? So
safety first, man.
Safety first. So yeah, that definitely happens. Later that night, after seeing the capacity for violence that Wesley is willing to go to, Doc goes to Dalton's place and's like, "Hey, we can just leave. You and me. We can just roll out of here." Oh no! You know what? I'm forgetting another sexy Patrick Swayze shirtless punching things doing martial arts scene. And the reason this is important to me is because Garrett, is like, "Hey man, why don't we leave? I don't know why you're so upset about this. You're talking a lot of junk, and maybe I need to kick your ass." And so Patrick Swayze throws a punch at him, and Garrett's like, pop, just catches it with his hand, just pow, like a freaking move from the Matrix.
So friggin' cool, man. And the only note I wrote down for this whole scene was back at the barn, Dalton wails on a bag while sweaty. So I basically encompassed about 7 minutes of the film.
It is. And I love the touch that, like, his punching bag that he's hung up is like a military bag, like it's like an army surplus bag. That's pretty fun. Well, Doc shows up at Dalton's place. He's like, we could just leave. Hey, I'm a good-looking lady. You're a good-looking guy. I've got applicable skills I can take anywhere. Everybody wants a doctor. We can go anywhere. We can do anything. Why don't we just head out? You don't have to stay here and deal with one Brad Wesley. He's a bad dude. And this just occurs to me. Do you think that like Dalton has like a little bit of like a jealousy thing going on because Doc Lady used to date Brad Wesley? Do you think maybe that's going on?
I mean, maybe they really don't push that too much. It almost seems like his feelings toward Wesley are just more about the way he's bullying the town. It's not so much about her, but I mean, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I would take her up on this if she came to me and was like, "Hey, I'm a doctor. You're a handsome man that can clearly make some good money at just about anywhere that sells Colt 45. Let's get on out of here." Why not?
I also want to point out that Patrick Swayze as a bouncer as a cooler is making more money than her as a doctor. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Kids, if you're looking for a career, maybe think about bouncing at the local, Roadhouse. So
yeah, get that degree in philosophy first, though. It goes a long way.
Yeah, you definitely gotta have that. So
yep.
While they're having this like argument, Cooter's place just explodes like he's been packing fertilizer in the foundations for the last decade.
Yeah, that thing goes up pretty quick. And as you may remember, and I don't really understand the geography of this town, but the bad guy lives across the river within eyesight of all the good guys. And he also has a helicopter and all the power. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like a safe place to go to sleep at night. But at any rate, he explodes Cooter's dwelling and is on the front porch, enjoying what he's done.
And Jimmy is the one who laid that firebomb. And he waits until the house explodes, which is like just a terrible getaway strategy in general if you're trying to get away with a crime. But he tries to ride away on his, like, I don't know, it looks like a mini bike. It looks like maybe like a 20cc engine on this bike that he's trying to ride away on. But it doesn't work out for him because Dalton runs him down on foot, runs a dirt bike down on foot, leaps, and the fight is on. Him and Jimmy are going at it. It's a hot battle. There's Jimmy's throwing some actual maybe martial arts moves. Patrick Swayze's throwing some dance moves, circa Dirty Dancing. But it's a barn burner. It's a brawl. And it ends with one Patrick Swayze doing a sort of a pirouette knee kick and then wachow, ripping out Jimmy's throat with his bare hand. Like, I don't know what... in like old kung fu movies, like Patrick Swayze would have gone to the top of like some snow-covered mountain to learn this deadly move of ripping out someone's throat. So he must have done that with Sam Elliott at some point. He learned it on top of a mountain. But he rips out the dude's throat and then like ninja kicks him in the water for good measure.
Yeah, it's really, really intense. And Doc shows up. She gets there just in time to see the carnage, and he's done flipped Jimmy out into the water. She goes over there and flips him over, thinking, oh, my gosh, hopefully you didn't kill somebody. Wow, that was really weird because it did look like you'd done that before. It was very smooth and precise move. And then she rolls him over and realizes, oh, no, he has literally no throat. Well, he's dead. So I thought that was kind of fun. So Patrick Swayze's like, yeah, he's definitely dead. Just drags him back out into the water.
Yeah, he does it because he's wanting to send him sailing across the river to Brad Wesley, like, you know, and he says some potty words, and I can't blame him. I mean, he did just straight up have to murder a dude because Brad Wesley's kind of a turd with his little neck cravat on, and yeah, I think that's pretty well the gist of the scene. I do think about it, and I'm like, okay, well, Brad Wesley, if he really wanted to get rid of Dalton, like, he owns the police and the judges and stuff, he could just call the police and go, hey, Dalton just straight up murdered a dude. I saw it. Like, arrest him, and they could, you know, that would be it. But that's not Brad Wesley's style. You know, he was in Korea. He wants to go to war again, I guess. Well, the next day, Dalton is the first into work, which, again, this is why he's so successful. Shows up early to work. You know, he's always the first one there, last one to leave. And the phone rings, and it's Brad Wesley's like, I'm going to flip a coin to see whether Doc or Wade dies. And he flips the coin. He doesn't tell, which I don't know. He's like, I'm not going to tell you which side it landed on. You're like, well, I don't know which one corresponded with Doc or with Wade. So the result,
or the point of this conversation. Yeah, it's like, you're just taunting me at this point.
Well, about that time, Wade comes rolling into the bar, and we know, okay, it's that Spider-Man scenario, right? Like, you got to choose to save the girl you love or the innocent people. You know, that the same choice that Bruce Wayne gets presented with in the Dark Knight from the Joker, right? Does he save his childhood love, or does he save Harvey Dent? You know, that same sort of choice. Is given to Dalton here, which, I mean, that predates like both of these, so I mean, I feel like they probably got it from this. But Garrett comes rolling in right after he gets off the phone with Brad Wesley, and he's pretty beat up, and he says, the bad guys told me I was the lucky one. And so Dalton goes, oh man, they're going after the Doc, I gotta go save her. So he goes and he tries to save her, and
turns out she's doing pretty good. She's at work looking at x-rays like a doctor should be. I don't see any corn dogs during that segment, but I imagine they're nearby. And that's when he's kind of confused, like, what's going on? If you're fine or whatever, I'll just go back then to the bar.
He heads back. He says, you're good, you're not going to come with me, fine, just stay here. There's hospital security, surely you'll be fine. Well, when he heads back to the bar, which I gotta say, Dalton, you're a little predictable here, okay? Because you know Brad Wesley's got a thing for Doc Lady. He's still going to try to win her back at some point. So you know he's not going to kill her. You know, he's definitely going to kill Wade. Well, when he goes back to the bar, he finds a Wade on the bar, and he thinks, oh, he's just got drunk and passed out on the bar, which Wade sounds awesome to party with if he gets drunk and passes out on the bar regularly, that his boy doesn't even question why he's laying on a bar. Well, when he rolls him over, there's a knife sticking out of his chest. In his chest.
Yes, and there's a note pinned to him via this knife that says it was tails, which, bringing it back to what you said earlier, that means nothing. We never got to see the coin. We didn't know which side was which.
Well, now we know. I mean, now we know.
I guess.
Well, this is where Patrick Swayze's character Dalton goes total first blood Rambo. He's out for revenge, and so he takes his car, his Mercedes, which he was planning on leaving town with, and he uses it as a decoy to distract all the guards at Brad Wesley's place. And again, I go, well, you know, if that car was the one that you wanted to keep, you know, I don't know, pristine or safe, why you wouldn't use the Buick Riviera? First of all, a Buick Riviera from the 60s is built like a frickin' battering ram. Like, you could take down a castle with one of those bad boys instead of like an 80s era, you know, I think I said BMW, but I think it's a Mercedes. But anyway, he uses that as a distraction. He sticks that knife into the gas pedal, and it kind of like everybody's shooting at it, thinking that he's in it, while he's sneaking in the back way. Stealth assassin in some Metal Gear Solid action as he goes in the back of this of Brad Wesley's mansion.
And my favorite part of the scene where he sends the decoy car in through the front of the mansion property is there's a guy, he looks like Uncle Rico. He's actually the bartender that was fired, so he's Wesley's nephew. He's coming back here. He's got a gun. He's got a shotgun. He's going to be unloading on this car that he thinks Dalton's driving in on the property. And I just love, I'm going to call it the old stank leg. This guy, he's got his leg is just moving and a grooving. Look at that. Look at that leg just go. I got it pulled up here for you, Kev. You got it grooving in. I couldn't stop watching it while we were. He just got that knee is popping. He's loving shooting this fake gun in this movie he's in. Probably the only film he's ever going to be in.
I mean, he had a great time, but yeah, it turns out that car did not contain Dalton. He was using it as a little bit of deception so that he could sneak in the back way. As the scene progresses, Dalton has I should say, and it's not really relevant to the plot, it doesn't really matter, but I think it's fun. The guy that killed Wade takes his knife out of the gas pedal where Dalton has sort of used the gas pedal. He's using the knife and the gas pedal to kind of keep the car going forward. He's taking and he sticks it back in the sheath on his hip, and you're like, dude, evidence. Like, you murdered a dude. Get rid of the knife sheath. Okay, you're just gonna put it back in. Okay, great. Well, Dalton uses that to kill the guy that killed his friend, and then take out the former bartender that he fired. Pow! And he takes out a couple other dudes. Well, my favorite dispatching, and he doesn't kill the guy, he just knocks him out, of anybody was the you remember the kind of hefty good old boy from the Office scene? Well, Brad Wesley has a trophy room, because of course he does. Of course he's a trophy hunter. He's a Donald Trump Jr. trophy hunting turd. I mean, that's
he's got
just
a real
who
dangerous
this guy
game
is.
living room. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
He just likes to. Can you imagine the type of mentality it takes to want to hang out in a room with a bunch of animals you've killed? Like, that's just weird. And I'm not hating on any of you hunters out there. I'm just saying maybe it's a little weird. Look, I got weird hobbies. I collected my fingernails for a year. Look, I'm just saying, everybody's got a little weird thing. But
I bury my victims. I don't leave them looking at me. Okay? I think there's a real sickness to letting them stare you down while you're in your living room.
Trav, you've been reading that Ed Gein book again, haven't you?
It's a good one. It's a good one. Deviant. Check it out.
You're just hanging out in a room with animals you killed. Whatever, Brad Wesley. Whatever. So that's his deal. Well, what Dalton does is he pushes a polar bear, which, holy crap, Brad Wesley killed a polar bear? Anyway, it doesn't matter. He pushes a polar bear over on the good old boy down in the game room, or not the game room, the room with the all the killed animals. And then Brad Wesley comes down there, and and this is where they do this thing where they're like, oh, we got to make Brad Wesley seem more dangerous than he is. Like, this guy's like pushing 60, and he's fighting like a peak physical performance Patrick Swayze with like a he has a gun, but it gets like kicked out of his hand, and then he picks up some spears that are in his like his trophy room, and it's like they're trying to make him seem dangerous. And you're like, dude, you got nothing for Patrick Swayze. Like, you got nothing.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick Swayze, they make him get all hurt, and he's all bloody. He's done, gosh, he's bled through that sweet, freshly laundered white ghee. And he just looks worse for wear. But when you think he's down, he always gets back up, knocks out the kneecap, gets knocked down, gets back up, knocks the gun away from him, and has a chance. He's got his Vulcan grip. Oh, this guy's going to rip his throat out, Kevin. Oh, no, is it going to go for the trifecta? 3 throats?
But he doesn't. He doesn't. Literally, this guy is the bad guy. Like, he should 100% rip this dude's throat out. He decides not to, and then his girlfriend shows up. For some reason, she's run through the house and shown up, and Brad Wesley's like, oh, this is my opportunity. Patrick Swayze's letting me up.
Yeah, active gunmen all over the premises, and she's just running into the living room. Pretty crazy.
She is. Well, of course, but I think this is to show us that Dalton has a heart. He's trying to change his ways. He's trying not to rip out Brad Wesley's throat, which out of everyone's throat, you would think that's who he wants to do that 3-finger, like, pow, rip move, but he doesn't do it. And so, He steps away. Brad Wesley used the opportunity to try to go for a cheap shot. He picks up the gun, and he's going to shoot Dalton in the back. Well, that's when all the townsfolk show up with their shotguns and just blow one Brad Wesley away.
Everybody gets a piece, man. You gotta love it. Red gets in there, gets some vengeance for his auto parts store. Cooter pops in, gets a few shots in for blowing up his house. Frankie Tillman showing up, giving some shots in for the double deuce. But you know who's forgotten in all this? The poor hefty feller that got mauled by that dead polar bear. Poor guy.
He did, man. And so the police come rolling in. And they're like, "What happened here?" And everybody's like, "Well, we don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened."
Showed up, the guy was just full of bullets. It's weird.
It's so weird. He had that weird disease where you just get filled up with bullets. I don't know. It's real weird. And so anyway, they ask the hefty fella with the suspenders what happened. He said, "I don't know. Polar bear fell on me. Polar bear fell on me."
Yeah. Yeah, he had his chance. He had a chance to turn there, but he was like, "You know what? Polar bear for me, guys. I didn't see much. You know, that guy got a steak dinner after that.
He sure did. He probably got 3, judging by his healthy appetite, my friend.
Got one from all three of the smoking guns.
Heck yeah, he did. And he probably, maybe he deserved it. I don't know. It's nice to think that maybe he turned his life around and he wasn't as bad a scumbag. So
I choose to think that for sure.
Because not only was he comic relief, he was sort of likable. Well, a whole lot of things happen. The bar seems to be going good. We get a skinny dipping scene. We get a little skinny dipping right at the end of the movie between Doc and Dalton, and they're in the throes of love, man. One thing that I find a little weird about this skinny dipping scene, and maybe again, Trav, your boy Kev over here is a little bit of a prude. I don't know who it is sitting on the bank as they're skinny dipping. I don't know if it's Cooter or if it's Red. I couldn't tell, but someone is sitting on the bank just having a picnic while these two are skinny dipping in the water.
I mean, it's weirder if it's Red, given that Doc is his daughter. But at the same time, I see Cooter as a father figure for Dalton. So either way, we have an old feller just hanging out watching two lovely mid-30s, highly sexual hot folk get naked in the pond.
That's it. And you're like, also, what happened to Wade Garrett? He was murdered on the bar. Does he get a funeral? This is a murder scene. Did they just I feel like, though, of all the things, Wade Garrett would be like, bury me in the bar. Bury me in the bar. That's where I want to be. Prop me up against the jukebox when I die, like the old country song said, Trav.
That's true, which is a song that played in this. And I wonder also if they ever got Jimmy's throatless corpse out of that water before they went skinny dipping in it. Something to think about.
He's just bumping against them. He's out in the spirit world, just like, oh, come on. Well, actually, he's more like, oh, come on,
Right. Hard to understand him. Yep.
Wow,
and
dude.
I think it's going to wrap it up.
Yeah, we made it all the way to the end of Roadhouse. Now that, my friend, is one heck of a serious movie. I mean, you're talking, it's got romance, it's got revenge, and Travis also got a polar bear falling on it, dude.
Oh my gosh, the polar bear guy, the comic relief of the whole thing.
He sure is. Well, man, I don't think there's too much else to say about it. I mean, I think we covered it pretty well. Now, this movie had a budget of $15 million, and it made $61.6 million at the box office. I mean, I can see why. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah.
It went on to become an even more popular with its home video release, and took on a life of its own when it hit cable TV. You and I both talked about TBS, TNT, whatever other cable channel that this came on. Man, it was everywhere, especially during the mid-90s.
Yeah, man. I mean, my exposure to this movie came in little bite-sized, between the commercial snippets. I think this might have been the first time I watched it from stem to stern in one complete sitting, but I saw TNT snippets for a good 15 years, enough to know basically what happens. And I got to say, because of what we talked about, a lot of censorship, good chunks of that movie were missing. I thought this movie 100% was an 82-minute movie. Turns out much longer than that.
You were when I pulled it up to watch, you were like, this is 2 hours? Like, yeah, Trav.
I had to
And
cut at least 30 minutes for TNT.
30 minutes was just Jubblies, Lady Jubblies in this freaking movie. Well, there was also a straight-to-video sequel released in 2006, and it didn't feature any of the original cast, and there was even, no kidding, an off-Broadway, which basically anything that's not on Broadway is off-Broadway, but an off-Broadway musical in 2003. Now, Roadhouse is even listed in the official Razzie Movie Guide as one of the most enjoyable bad movies ever made. Bad? Yes. Enjoyable? Yes.
Yes.
And, Trav, it makes a great end for the inaugural season of a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Amen, brother.
You better believe it, buddy.
Yeah, dude. I can't believe the way God smiled upon us to have us bookended by the Swayze. I mean, what a gift. What an absolute gift.
Friend.
Man, I think that's going to wrap it up. I feel like I've been roundhouse kicked right in my movie watching muscle. It feels tuckered out from all of this. So
you got a movie
folks,
for your movie watching? I'm sorry, a muscle for your movie watching? What specific muscle is that?
It's my.
I'm sorry. In what general region of your body is that? I'm sorry, I don't know the names of muscles, so you're gonna have to.
It's more of a ligament. It's like my film CL.
So like the back of your leg?
Yeah, somewhere near my leg.
You watch movies on the back of your leg?
Listen, it's just a muscle. I don't know what it does. Maybe it's more of a gland. Okay, listen, I don't know, but it's tired.
I would buy a gland. I would buy a gland, like it's a glandular thing. Like because you know when you watch a good movie, you feel it inside you. It's not an exterior thing. It's not something outside. It's not something separate. It's inside of you. The way you feel, the way you experience it. So I definitely think it's more glandular.
Yeah, it feels. You know what? Now that you mention it, it feels a little glandular, and my gland is just. I think it's a little swole. But folks, if your glands are swole, maybe you like what just happened. And if you do like what just happened, if you're like, hey, these guys aren't too bad, you might like our other shows. For example, I got a few more shows. You can head over to polymedianetwork.com. You can check out Polykill, that's for gaming. We got Tales of the Lesser Medium, that's for gaming, but it's funny. Polykill's funny too. Then we got Drunk Friend, that's for gaming, also funny, but different. So 3 different podcasts about gaming, but they're different and they're funny. And we got Petey's Power Hour for your drink. We got Indie Quest for other stuff. We got all kinds. Go over there, polymedianetwork.com. Please check it out. And if you like Kevin, please seek out the podcast Blue Peg, Pink Peg. That's board gaming. Gaming, and then movies here. Okay, but if you think, gee, gosh, I hope these guys keep making a podcast, hop on over to that Patreon, patreon.com/Polykill. Toss a few bucks in there. Pick a tier that you like. Anything and everything helps. It keeps the home fires lit, so please do that. And we want to thank our pal, Harvest Black, for our lovely theme song. And, just like our Uncle Doug always says,
I want you to be nice until it's time not to be nice.